situation when you're in the quarterback room. And I think what makes it more difficult is it's two young guys. Josh Rosen is sitting in the room saying, I'm good enough to play in the NFL. And Kyler Murray is saying the same thing. And don't forget, a lot of people don't know this about Kyler Murray. Oh, we hadn't talked about it much. He was at Texas A&M with another recruit that was #1 in the country, Jake Allen, who was in the same quarterback room. And Kevin Sumlin ended up losing both of those guys because it just doesn't exist. It doesn't coexist when you take a guy first in the draft and 10th in the draft at the same position and the most important position in football.
All right, let me segue back to the previous conversation about Dwayne Haskins, who winds up falling all the way to 15. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, the fit is good. He's a prospect that I love. You were very much on the Daniel Jones bandwagon. What do you think of Haskins?
Well, but I love Haskins as well. I was just saying, for me, that I would have taken that guy 2, Haskins 3. That's exactly what happened. So, but Haskins, to me, I hope, like Lewis nailed it. I hope he doesn't, he's not forced to play immediately, because I think you need to sit in there. You get behind Case Keenum, it's a great situation. Just don't get enamored with those skills and force the issue. I think that could be detrimental to Haskins. Let him develop at his own pace, and you're going to get a great quarterback.
Well, it's two things that happened. Dwayne Haskins walked into a great situation. Like Lou alluded to, they have a really good offensive line, and Darius Guice showed a lot of promise before he was injured. So he'll come in with a run game. Daniel Jones and the New York Giants dumped so much talent. Landon Collins is in Washington now. Odell Beckham in Cleveland. Olivier Vernon in Cleveland. So it's a lot of these guys that they offloaded. Haskins is, I think, is the better quarterback, and he walks into a better situation.
Look, at the end of the day, Dwayne Haskins had as good a season as any Big Ten quarterback has ever had in the history of the conference. The fit is the fit. We'll see if he's rushed onto the field, how it works. But as a prospect, for whatever my opinion is worth, I thought he was the best in this draft. Laura, what do you have?
Another guy with a lot of great opinions and a lot of scouting that went into all of this, our draft guru, Todd McShay, here to hand out some draft grades, some awards, and maybe some not-so-good awards from last night, the first round of the draft. So we begin with this one. What was the best pick in your mind, Todd?
I really liked what Denver did, moving back, getting a second-rounder, getting additional picks next year, and then also getting Noah Fant, a player I thought was one of the 15 best players in this year's class, the tight end coming out of Iowa, the second tight end being drafted out of Iowa. You've got a quarterback in Joe Flacco, who you've committed to for short term, 2, maybe 3 years, and you know his favorite thing is that security blanket at the tight end position. And Fant is basically just a flexed out wide receiver type who can create mismatches. And again, you get Fant, plus you get additional picks that are going to help you immediately, but also in the future when you're going to have to start moving on from Joe Flacco. So I thought from a value standpoint, that was a great pick. I love T.J. Hawkinson, the other Iowa tight end. Jacksonville had an opportunity for him. He gets to Detroit because Josh Allen fell. Basically, Jacksonville and Detroit wound up making out because of the mistakes, in my opinion, that Oakland made with Cleveland Farrell, the Clemson defensive end, taking him too high, and then Daniel Jones, the quarterback for the Giants, going at number 6. So all of a sudden, 2 of the 6 best players in this year's draft class fall a little bit, and they just said, you know what, forget needs. We're just going to take the best player on the board.
Yeah, I got to think that Josh Allen there in Saxonville has a chance to be pretty great. Okay, Daniel Jones, tons of reaction everywhere. What have you heard on your end?
I haven't heard anything because I don't care what I hear, to be honest with you, Laura. I just know what I saw. And listen, I was at the Clemson game, and I watched this tough guy get up after hit after hit after hit. And I know he's intelligent, and I know he's well coached, and there are a lot of positives to him. And he can run. But when you look at all the really good quarterbacks, especially guys that are his frame and the pocket passing style, look at, from Peyton Manning to Tom Brady to Aaron Rodgers and moving on. What do they all have in common? First of all, they can create within the pocket. I know he can run. I know he ran for 180-plus against North Carolina. I know he ran the second fastest 40 of all the quarterbacks in this year's 40-yard dash at the Combine. But he doesn't create his own space inside the pocket. He's slow in terms of reading coverages and making decisions. And then finally, he's a great guy. He's very intelligent. But what do all those guys have in common? Roethlisberger, Brady, so on and so forth. They're assassins. And I don't think he has that mentality. I think they're going to be very disappointed with that number 6 overall pick when we look down the road 3-4 years from now.
All right, thanks so much, Todd McShay, joining us here on Get Up. And we've got plenty more to come from Nashville. Coming up, what do the